There's something out there, isn't there?
Hello, friends, and welcome to my 10 days of spookyTober. Welcome to my Halloween series. Welcome to 10 days of spookyTober, where I'm going to be painting my favorite snow cap, show cap from my top 10 1980s horror movies and or shows. So you know the number one person on my list had to be Freddy Krueger. He is the master of horror, the king of all things scary. Everything that bumps in the night, you definitely think is Freddy Krueger. And for those of you that have been hiding underneath a rock and you have no idea what I'm even talking about, picture this: 1984.
You could just see cuts happening.
What did that, Lieutenant?
I don't know.
What's the coroner got to say? He's in the jar and puking since he saw it.
They're gonna kill me for sure.
So the world first found out about Freddy Krueger 1984 when the movie Nightmare on Elm Street first appeared on the scene. And of course, I was 4 years old at the time, so I would have no idea what it was all about. But because it became such a cult classic back in the day, right? Because it became such a phenomenon, a horror phenomenon at that time, it ended up causing a cult following that spurned basically a spinoff from the Nightmare on Elm Street whole franchise, and they realized they needed to make some more movies, okay, pretty much. So they ended up doing a spinoff, which was Nightmare, what was it called? It was called Freddy's Nightmares, and it ran from 1988 until 1990. Now, for those of you that don't really know me, you know that I am an older artist. I just turned 40 this past April. So, of course, at that time, I was like, freaking, I don't even know what it was. I think I was like 8 years old or something like that when the first Freddy's Nightmares episode came out. Now you gotta remember at this time, right? And for those of you that are too young to remember this, at this time, 1988, okay, circa 1988, I was born and raised in New York City, living in New York, and being born in that era. There was no there was no cable, there was no cell phone, there was no Facebook, there was none of that stuff. All you had was TV, and you would go outside, you play double dutch, stuff like that. Those are the things that you had to kind of, entertain yourself, so to speak, during that time. And when I found Freddy Krueger 1989, we only had I think 11. We didn't have cable. There was no cable station. There was no Comcast, none of that stuff, no Verizon. I think they at that time they had like probably Bell South or something like that. I'm telling you guys all the tea, okay? And they pretty much they had like a 13 channels, and it used to come on like I think 8 or 9 o'clock during the week on like channel 11. And when my grandma, because I used to stay with my grandma sometime in the nighttime when my mom was off working at the city. For those of you guys that are not from New York and you have no idea what I'm talking about, the city is basically Manhattan. When she was off working in Manhattan, I was in the house watching TV, sneaking around. I mean, we all done it. You know you did it, okay? Sneaking around, doing my thing, watching all of these different shows. And Freddy's Nightmares really, it like sent chills up my spine. And being a 9-year-old, you're already scared of everything. You're scared of your surroundings. You're scared of the people. You're scared of things that go bump in the night. You know, I remember distinctly always feeling like there was some sort of entity outside of my window getting ready to, and it had red eyes, because I remember always telling my mom about that. And it was probably because I was secretly watching Freddy's Nightmares. But I distinctly remember being in that mode where I was still trying to figure out what I liked in music and art and all of those things. And I didn't really discover art at the time, but I remember distinctly just falling in love with that horror show. And it ran from 1988, like I said, until 1990. And I was pretty much 10. And so it ran, I mean, in a 3-year span, that can shape your whole kind of psyche, especially when you're a child and you know you're watching or exposed to certain things. That can shape your whole way of taste and all that stuff. And from that time, I mean, it made such an impact on me that I ended up loving Freddy's Nightmare, the whole franchise, Nightmare on Elm Street, all the movies, all the spin-offs, you know what I mean? I loved all of it except the one where he did like I don't even know what it was. It was like a parody or some sort of collaboration with Jason. Don't send me hate comments, but I don't like Jason. Okay? So I'm just going to say that. And that's why he's not on my list, because I don't like Jason. I felt like he was just a man. He was just a weird, psychotic man that was running through the woods and just chopping people up because he was jealous that he couldn't get it up. So he was like, okay. I felt like he was cock blocking for real. As usual, I love you guys so much. And I will catch you on the next one. Bye. Welcome to 10 days of spookyTober. Monster Mash. Monster Mash. Oh, woo, woo, woo.